I'm calling to order the January 15th, 2025 Town Hall meeting for Gilliam County. We will now have the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Want to let you know there's pizza in the back if anybody wants pizza and a drink. We're going to go ahead and begin with opening remarks of the county court. I'm going to start. I just want to welcome you to Gilliam County's 2025 Town Hall meeting. A meeting will also be held in Arlington on February 11th at the Grunquist Building. The goal of these meetings, hold a meeting on each end of the county in the evening to accommodate community engagement. The intent of the town hall meetings is to learn about and listen to you through your thoughts and ideas so that Gilliam County's goals, strategies, and direction aligns with those of the community. We will not please everyone in our decisions, but allowing a majority of the community to guide the county forward will focus our goals to align with the community need. My mind goes back to the Ford Family Foundation effective meetings training that some of us in the community took part in. And the one I took part in was in 2006 and 2007. It was in this room. At that training, community members and leaders from Gilliam County learned how to reach effective group decisions using specific strategies. Out of that group education, the participants selected a community project. And that year it was the tables and chairs and trailer that the communities use to this day. The format of this town hall, facilitated by Corey Michaelo, Fairwoods Consulting LLC, is similar. The goal will be to gather your thoughts and ideas for the good of Gilliam County and the citizens. This is our first try at a town hall meeting. We are just learning and navigating whether this format or approach will work. In order to start engaging the community, we must begin and adjust accordingly if necessary. I want to welcome you and thank you for taking time out of your evening to attend tonight. Go ahead.
I wasn't really prepared to talk. I just want to thank everybody for coming tonight. I know some of you folks, I look forward to putting names and meeting people that I haven't met before. I know when I ran for commissioner position, one of the things that I wanted to strive to do was to reach out to get engagement with the people. And it's kind of hard just to the meetings and stuff, but like I say, we're excited what Corey's put together here, and we're just looking for, I know my goal is to get some more engagement with you folks and get input and see you know, what directions is important. Maybe we don't have the right direction, and I want to make sure that we're engaged with the public.
I didn't plan any remarks either, but I just hope we have something come out of this that's constructive and stays that way, instead of ultra critical how some of the meetings were in the past. So if we could just keep that in mind as we go forward.
Yes. I'm sure everyone will be civil. This is going to be a fun process. I think it's going to be good for you to be a part of it. So thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is the Condon Can presentation. Catherine?
Good evening. And Catherine, I don't know if you can hear me, but Brittany Dark is here supporting you via virtual.
Thanks, Brittany.
Go, Catherine.
I think I know most everyone, but I'm Catherine Joyner. I'm the city administrator of the city of Condon. And when this town hall process came up, one of the goals of our visioning session with the city of Condon and Southfield had was to present what we found out in our visioning process to the county, which fits right in. If they're listening to what's going, we think we've done part of the work for them to figure out what is important to our community on the south end, which also includes not just within the city of Condon limits, but within all of South End. The full report will be put on our website by next week. It's going to go before our city council at our retreat on Friday, and then next February, our first meeting in February, the council will approve our vision session. So I'm just going to briefly go through this. And so one of the things I wanted to tell you is how this process worked. It was done by Rural Development Initiatives, sponsored by the Ford family with Caitlin helping out. The city of Condon provided funding, Gilliam County provided funding, and Rural Development Initiative also provided funding for the project. Extended over about 8 months with 2 community meetings, 2 surveys, and then we had a home team, which was about 8 to 10 people that made this process keep moving along. The whole goal of this was to make sure that it did not last a long time, because we all know when you have projects like this, they better speed along or you're going to start dropping off people. So the one thing we want to do is, the first thing they had to do is pick a vision statement. And we had a really long vision statement picked out, and we came to the last community meeting and they just pared it down to make it really succinct. And then Bob Devine was there, and he lives right outside of Condon, grew up here. And they said all roads lead to Condon. And so that became part of our vision, because I don't know how many people have gone far and wide and you meet someone that knows someone in Condon, that has been to Condon or has some relatives here. And one example is Donald Jameson just came back from Croatia, and on the boat, he met some people that knew the new owners of the cafe.
Oh, wow.
So they're everywhere. Look out what you say. They're everywhere. Anyway, Condon is a place where history meets innovation, embracing a modern lifestyle for residents and visitors alike. With a history of agriculture, recreation, arts, Condon is a safe and vibrant community. That explains the background and what we're looking for. The other thing is the core values. And I'm just going to skim over all of this, because the bottom line is in our core values and our strategies. Brittany and I have we had the task of assigning each strategy to groups. And some of you may not know that you're assigned to a group yet. So you will soon find out. The core values are clean, safe, and welcoming, respect for people and property. I'm sorry. You can go on here. These are up here: active, healthy lifestyle, culture and heritage, family and youth. Everyone can make a difference, community, spirit, and pride. Again, I'll put this on the website so you can, I'll read it to you. I will not read it to you. I want to really focus is we have 3 areas of focus. People, place, and prosperity. And what you need to know, you can go to the next slide. What you need to know is that this is a 20-year plan. So the basic underneath people is where Condon fosters the nurturing community. And right below strategy 1 is our 20-year vision. What we do though is then we go down to the 5 years of what it's going to look like, and then we have actions and projects. So our first one is community inclusion and community engagement. Again, this one is going to be assigned to the Times Journal and the Chamber of Commerce to do. When we started this project, one of the main things that came out of it is we have a real issue with communication, even in such a small town that we have here. One example is when we started the process for the visioning project, we held one of our first community meetings when the health district had their meetings, so they couldn't participate. When we started it, we reached out to every organization, school, the fire district, health districts, county, everything. And so another thing that came up tonight is this meeting tonight is we have a communication issue, is there's a school function going on just up the road. Right. So we obviously need more work on communication on this. The second one is intergenerational activities. We've assigned this to Gilliam County Public Library and Summit Springs Village. This is basically, we want to make sure the kids and the adults interact with each other and that they feel more part of the community. And we have more activities and projects that will link the older, all generations together. So that's the next one. Oh, I also too have cards that I forgot at City Hall, and I'll bring them over. If anyone is interested in participating in any of these strategies or any of these projects, I have a card filled out. Give me your information. I can get it to the people that are spearheading each area. So the other one is thriving schools. And so we need to make sure that we develop volunteer and intern programs with students. The students, administrators, and the community are interconnected and working together to support education, economic opportunity, and community. This one too, we assigned to the Condon School District and the parent and community team, which Caitlin has just started. Go to the next one. So next we're going to go to place. Again, we value our rich heritage while embracing the modern lifestyle. One is community gathering spaces. We assigned that to the South Gilliam County Health District, and the reason we did that was because they have the workout center and they can offer classes and things to gather people in. The other one we gave it is to the Gilliam County Fair Board with their new event center. That those will be the leads. It's not saying that they won't reach out to the helps for their facility. They won't reach out to the city for this facility or the churches for any of their facilities. And what they want there too is just to make sure that the facilities in Condon, which also includes the pool, which if anyone is interested in the pool, we're having a discussion again on that coming down the road. But the health district and hopefully the fair board will take up some of the community space discussion on that. The other strategy in place is arts and culture. And of course, we're signing up to the Condon Arts Council. It's they want to make sure that there's adult theater, music, live art shows, and how to advertise to all more murals and public arts. And they just want to demonstrate art through volunteer leadership and funding. We'll go to the next one, place. I'm speeding through, so if anyone has any questions, contact me at the city or make sure you see it online. We have a group that's going out to hopefully give this presentation to all of the Sun Springs and all the health districts. The school board are going to hopefully get to them in the next month. So some of the focus areas are not a surprise, and here's one, housing. So we need a 20-year version is Condon to have a variety of housing options that allow everyone who wants to move to the area will be able to do so. We've assigned that to Pioneer Community Development and to the city of Condon to work on housing projects of the city. We're going to go to the next one. So prosperity. Strategy 1, more job opportunities. We've assigned this to the Chamber of Commerce. 20-year vision is to Condon to have an adequate amount of skilled trade workers to meet needs in town, and entrepreneurship is encouraged. The second one is another one that is not a surprise, increased childcare options. And we've assigned that to the Condon Urban Development Center. We want to make sure the 20-year vision is childcare is available for every family in Condon and the surrounding region, making it an accessible place for families to live and work. And the final one of prosperity is that it's going to be assigned to the Chamber of Commerce. And we noticed that the county is trying to hire an economic development person. And so we've assigned that down the road to your economic development staff. We had tried to give this and make sure the Fort is involved since it's a countywide, but at this point, they didn't have the staff to go with it on this end of the county. So we just want to make sure the storefronts on Main Street are occupied and open at least 5 days a week. Residents can visit downtown frequently and purchase what they can locally. Some of the projects, a lot of the projects are just communication and trying to get the community to work together towards these visions and goals. So the next page is actually where we assigned everybody. And then the final page is just who was involved. I just want to make sure that when I saw the agenda or what they said for this meeting tonight, it was Gilliam County Court is looking forward to hearing from public in an effort to align Gilliam County's goals and mission with community needs and expectations. I think through this process, we can give a lot of answers to you also. And also too, I think that GEODC has done a community plan, which also mentions a lot of what is in our strategic plan. Typically, basically, childcare and housing are two of the new biggest things that are coming, have always come to the top. And they need to be looked at. So if anyone has any questions, let me know. Anyone that's assigned a project, let me know. And I will go get the cards before the meeting's over so people can sign up. We would love to have volunteers to help pull this on. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy.
Yep.
Thank you, Catherine. Okay, next on the agenda is the goal setting work session.
So we are gonna capitalize on all the groundwork that Catherine already laid down in the city of Condon. And this is now, we are going to do a kind of a goals work session. World Cafe, Daylight Catino actually is the one who taught me to do this one from the rural development. And we are going to get everyone's input who's in here about 5 important questions of the county. So if you notice, there are 5 tables around. And we're looking for answers to the questions of current strategic plan, what's going well, and ideas for improvement. And don't worry, you don't have to have the strategic plan memorized. We have the strategic plan and the top priorities over there at the table listed. Then we also have the question, future development projects. What kind of projects do you want to see? And this is your opportunity to list all of the development projects you want to see take place in Gilliam County. They can be small, they can be big. We have Mid-Columbia Economic Development District over in Sherman County has a list of projects that they're working on with Sherman, and they're trying to get ideas from us as well. So I've got the Sherman ones listed there, but you're not limited to what we have there. That was just ideas. Also, we have our question on the county court of what's going well, what are ideas for improvement? This could have the thing, like example, communication's going well, or communication's not going well, and just kind of give us that feedback so that the court can address everyone's needs. In the back, we have livability, which is community beautification and recreation. Basically, how do you want to make Gilliam County a better place to live? And this can be anything from streetlights to community litter patrols. And then in alignment, especially with something that that Condon Can came up with, childcare and early education. What is going well? What are ideas for improvement? So at each table, we have sticky notes, and we will also have a facilitator, a member of the county court or the county staff, so that everyone will get some face time with each of them. And just really, we're looking for ideas and we're looking for open discussion. Write your ideas on the sticky notes or get them reported up on the paper, because at the end, what we're going to do, everyone's going to get 5 minutes at each station. Then after your 5 minutes is done at that station, you're going to go to the next one. And at the very end, we're going to get 5 extra minutes for you to go back anywhere that suddenly got inspired. And you're like, oh, shoot, I just thought of this development project after thinking about the strategic plan or community livability. And you'll get a chance to go back. And then we will have 10 minutes where everyone can go around and read the different things that are listed on the board. And you all are going to get to vote. So you're going to have little sticky dots, and you're going to have 3 for each table. And you can put all 3 on one issue if that is your most important thing, or you can spread them out amongst 3, but you just kind of get 3 to really kind of highlight, especially like, let's say with future development projects, if we've got 70 projects up there, we really want help determining what is most important for the community. So we already have some groups that naturally spread out, and I don't think we had enough chairs, so people can, if there's not enough chairs at your table, you can take a chair, or we can, or you can stand. There is no requirement to sit or stand, but you have the option. And do people want to divide into their own groups, or do you want me to count you off? Count off? All right. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3. And we're gonna have to make you guys split up now that we're doing it that way. 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, just 3 with Chris. Then Joe, 4. We're gonna 5. 1, 1, 2. Yeah, 3, 4, and 5. So we're going to start with the current strategic plan will be group 1. Future development projects is group 2. Group 3 is county court. 4 is livability. And group 5 is healthcare and early education.
Great.
All right, we are ready to move on to the final part of our meeting tonight, which is standard town hall. So this is your opportunity to address the court with your questions. We just ask that if you have a question that you raise your hand, state your name and address. Okay,
City.
city, and your city, and then we can go from there.
Mhm. So we'll need a chair up here. Yeah, thank you. And, you're welcome to approach and talk with us.
So can I make a comment?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, by the way.
Did a good job.
Couple of things that came up at the early learning was after school care
Mhm.
and the question about that. And then the other thing was, what was the other thing? Childcare people.
Stability. Volunteer.
Do you have questions?
Oh, it was more I remember now. It was the school district. And how come we're not including the school district in that? Thanks. So those were the two things that came up that didn't really have anything to do with early learning.
Okay, since you brought that subject up, at the table on the strategic plan, Jen Hall explained that there's an after-school program at the school. Would you like to come up and explain that so that people just have the information they need?
Yeah, Jennifer Hall.
Uh-huh.
Because a couple of years ago, the school changed to where we
Jennifer.
were releasing,
Come up here, they can see on Zoom, sorry.
releasing K through 2 at 2:45 and then 3 and above is at 3:30. And so we had a gap where some parents were having to come pick up their students, their younger students at 2:45, and then they were having to turn around and come back 45 minutes later to pick up their older kids. And so about a month, 2 months ago, Jessica Barnett and I started taking on an after-school academic support. So we do just 15 minutes of reading, writing, STEM, math, whatever it is, and then we have a physical activity for them to help alleviate those parents from having to come back. And then beyond that, for the older kids, we do have an after-school support that I do for tutoring, whether it's reading, math, science, whatever. We offer it, and it's not always utilized, but it's there.
Okay.
So we do have options out the school district for that.
Just wanting to clarify that those are tutoring opportunities, not general oversight or care afternoon, after school care to the end of the average workday sort of. Okay, just clarify.
Right.
Cool opportunity.
I had a question about whether, I think the school got a grant program for it. It's the 21st century grant. So.
Yeah. Thank you for explaining that. Mhm. Okay, go ahead.
I was just wondering.
Would you come up? I'm sorry to cause everyone to have to leave their seats, but it's the only way those on Zoom can see. If you stand on this side and address
Because they've
people?
mentioned that you're not close.
Okay.
Us
Yeah.
Zoom people really appreciate it, so thank you. I know it's a hassle, you guys. We appreciate it though.
Yeah, Brooke.
I was like, Brooke. I'm Haley, the director of Early Learning Center. I was just asking, are there any talks within the school district of trying to have an after-school program and summer program? Or is that still something that's like, because I've been thinking about trying to see about doing that in the future, and I didn't know if that was already being talked about.
During the summer, 2 summers ago, we did have a summer program that was offered at the school, but it was put on through community counseling solutions. Unfortunately, this last summer, I was hired to do that, but I had some family emergency and stuff happen. So I had to turn down the position, so we didn't offer that this summer, but I know sometimes there's sports camps and stuff, but there's no regular summer
Okay.
program.
So the ESD, North Central ESD, actually, some of the districts got a grant. The ESD managed it for some summer programs for all the component districts that the ESD covers, which is the fossil school districts, or the Wheeler County, Gilliam County, and Sherman County districts.
So they like, will be doing more, is that?
Well, it was a grant program, and I think comes back, they did do it.
So I guess my question would be, is funding the issue? Is space the issue? Staffing the issue? All of the above?
All of the above.
Okay,
Funding, I think, is clear.
okay. All right.
The ESD was able to do it because they had funding.
Uh-huh, okay. So funding would be the number one issue on summer and after school. Okay, all right. Thank you. Are there any other thoughts on that? Okay. With people working 410s, I think that there's often the situation with people working till 5:30 or 6 too, as an additional challenge. So. Okay, is there any other questions that come to mind?
Sorry.
Uh-huh.
Hold on.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Margaret from the Arts Council.
Yes.
Condon.
Uh-huh.
So coming back to the 21st Century Grant, one of the things that we're trying to do is provide like after-school programming and then spring break programming. But not only are we running, I mean, we've been in talks with the school about like funding through the 21st Century Grant. But then we are sometimes still running into a problem of finding the staffing for it.
Mhm.
Because we have to have like, specifically for us, it's like people who are artistic enough to be able to like teach a class and then have some sort of teaching would be a bonus.
Mhm.
But so I mean, like, funding isn't the only problem when it comes to like what we're
Staff.
trying to provide. So like, if anybody does know about anybody artistic and willing to like
Okay.
help us with that, that's something that, you know, we've been offered the funding. We just don't always have the teachers look at it.
I see. That's good feedback. Thank you. Go ahead. Anything else? Okay, so are we going to, Corey, are you gathering the statistics? Is that what you're working on right now?
I was taking notes for that.
Okay, great.
But I can go gather. this.
I didn't know where we were or what we do after.
Well, I have a few more questions.
Yep. Okay.
But since we don't,
Well, we might have some more because I have a few questions myself to ask the people. Okay, you're gonna ask on mine. Make sure where I'm at. Sorry.
This is Brittany from the Chamber Online. I just have a note for what was just brought up as far as, challenges in finding the right people. Stephen and I are working together, Times Journal and the Chamber, as well as Catherine, as far as communication goes for the Condon Can initiative, which kind of rolls into kind of overall Gilliam County communication. So I would just encourage those that are participating tonight and outlying is to connect with Stephen or myself and just throwing it out there like that these are the challenges we're finding. Can we find additional people? We do have a jobs board. We can list volunteer opportunities as well, highlight those within the chamber. And lots of times the Times Journal does do press releases and free advertising for those nonprofits, or we can incorporate those in some bigger stories. So I would just encourage that for some of our communication pieces.
Okay, thank you. I did want to address you on a couple of things. At the budget committee meeting last spring, Wally Powell, who's a budget committee member, said 3 things that stuck with me. One of them was, you should have town hall meetings. Another one was, it would be good for us to have a narrative or some explanation. And I'm summarizing what I said with the budget so that the layman can understand what the numbers mean. So we're going to work on that this year. And the other thing he brought up was, is there ever going to be a point in time when the homestead rebate is going to be potentially increased? It's $590 per person. And that's for homeowners, and that's, through the economic enhancement ordinance. And I want to explore increasing that. It hasn't kept up with the cost of living. As long as we can afford that, I want to look at that. It's always been kept below for one reason, because of the issuing 1099s. It'd be 594. I know that's the number of homesteads there are currently. So looking at that, I just wanted to share that with you. And any other ideas in our budget process would be welcome.
Well, and I think you brought up the point that the endowment fund rebate endowment fund is
Mhm.
quite large now.
Right.
Because of that.
Yeah, so it's been built.
And at what point do we stop
Mhm,
adding into that and maybe put in something else?
mhm.
I think the homestead rebate fund right now has enough for us to keep it at $590 for the average of 500 to 550 households for like 27 years.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so would that be better put somewhere else?
I did have one.
Yeah.
Just stay back here.
Mhm. Yeah, as long as they can hear you.
I don't know everyone. When we're talking about the endowment, is with this money. I know there is a discussion about the childcare endowment, which I think is also good, but I don't think we should stop it. I think there should be a housing endowment. I think there should be an operating fund endowment for like Summit Springs, the health districts on both ends. Or any of the other districts need that money. And then that way, when the money goes off, while we have the money to do an endowment now is the time to do it. Because if we wait till all of a sudden the money's gone, then we cut everyone off. And we know some of these places are always been in this system, such as the childcare centers on both ends of the county.
Mhm.
I don't know if Columbia Manor is still open, Grant, down there. but,
It is.
I mean, they may need some funds, they're nonprofits, so I would just encourage. While we have the endowment, if you're gonna move the money out of the homestead rebate, because there's enough there now, start the endowment for housing, because right now what we're finding with housing, there is not a lot of state money that's gonna be coming in. A lot of it is focused on homeless, which thank God that is not our problem. I think the best thing we can do is try to take care of people that live and work here.
Mhm.
And have an endowment for homes to have affordable housing for people that are tied to employers here already. So I encourage you that the endowment might be the way to go, whether it's run by someone in the county or it's run by, but it needs to be one just like the homestead, that there is rules that it cannot be touched.
Go ahead. Yeah, if you could, please.
I'll keep it simple on that. I just wanted to say for people who don't already know, the child care centers typically have 4 funding streams. That's federal, state, the grants from the county, and parents. So if the funds were to just completely disappear from the county, the rates to parents would jump up so high that I don't believe with the median income in our area that they would be able to afford it. That's really, so I do think it would be smart to plan for the future when those funds run out. That's really all I have to say on that.
I'll throw out a thought I've had about childcare. We give money based on competitive grants. And each year it's a surprise what is asked for. I've thought about having a line item for the Condon Center and the Arlington Center. And that way everyone knows from year to year the amount of money that Gilliam County can afford and how much money you can expect. I don't know if it's a good idea. It's just an idea I had. I have more peace with that idea because I feel that it's hard to, there becomes community contention. If we don't fund fully, we might not have, we may have a recommendation from the grant committee. I just think it would make communication a lot better between us if we're talking about what we can afford and everybody's prepared. I don't know if you like that idea or not, but I'd like feedback on it.
So you're talking about putting those childcares in the budget for the county forever?
No, well, as long as we can afford it, they would still come from
And
SIF
see,
funds.
that's part of the
Mhm.
reason that we
Mhm.
were trying to establish an endowment fund that could potentially fund itself down the road and the county doesn't have to fund it.
But wouldn't it take 10 years for that to build?
So how long are when the six finally roll off?
This, the big one's coming off, Caithness, Shepherd's Plat's coming off in 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Well, we
But
have
there's
right
new
now,
projects coming.
we also have right now $11 million
Mhm.
that was unappropriated in
Mhm.
the enhancement funds. So,
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah, so it's just it's a thought of if
Because
they
I
have
can
to wait 10
foresee-
years.
I can see the first thing that will happen when you have to start making budget cuts, those are gonna go gone.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is there an opportunity with these new projects going in for these large corporate businesses to contribute to the endowment? So getting it established in a way that allows them to contribute to the SIPs under that agreement, but also they have immediate buy-in to contributing to an impactful project in both North and South End.
The project itself or the entity itself, but I'm not sure about, I posed that idea.
Okay.
And I didn't get a lot of good feedback on it. It was, so I thought of that.
Keep trying.
Yeah, just with one company.
There's an online comment.
Okay.
Bonnie Foxberger. I like the idea of applying for childcare subsidies that a fixed amount per site or have families apply directly.
Oh, childcare subsidies, yes. Good. Okay. Who had their hand raised? Go ahead.
I just have a question, because I don't necessarily think having a line item for any entity that's providing childcare is a bad thing, but what does worry me is that if, you know, with the inflation, rising costs year to year, we're already looking at 12% increase in expenses just based on groceries, insurance, and what have you. And we are potentially looking at the loss of one of our funding streams, ERDC. We currently have 4 families enrolled into that program. Last year it was 7. And they were granted more money to basically sustain the program as is. And to the 8,500 families that are on the wait list, there's going to be no solution. So right now we are looking at kids aging out of that, kids potentially moving and losing about, I think it was 13% of our income. Right now with families and tuition, that makes up about 3%, which isn't a lot, but we kind of like that it's like for the community. But with Head Start billing, that is dispersed then through discretionary funds through the federal government, which raises at a very flat rate every year without any respect to inflation. So everything is going to shift differently. And I just worry, is that line item open to flexibility? Because
I don't know. I just know it's a thought I had and I wanted it, the reason that I thought of it is from what I had heard about the endowment, the idea of the endowment was it would build for 10 years without being touched. So my question would be, what are we going to do over the next 10 years? So that's why I was thinking about it. Huh?
A line item for 10 years and then the endowment would be available.
Well, the other option is, are you going to apply for a grant? Because that's, I'm talking about a line item instead of applying for the grant. So it's just a thought.
So any grant writing outside of asking you for money, they can't do. They're for profit. Sorry.
Oh, excuse me.
Jennifer Gould.
Yes.
Arlington Childcare is for profit.
They're nonprofit.
When they got nonprofit.
They're nonprofit. Yeah, they're nonprofit. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is that on the reopen?
They are nonprofit. I don't know if it's recent,
That's a
but.
good step.
Yeah.
That equalizes it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it does limit their access to funding streams if they're for profit.
Yeah.
As far as within this community.
Yeah.
Also, I guess I just want to say, when I look around here, a lot of these dots are all on quality of living items.
Mm-hmm.
quality of living. You know, our needs being met within the community. Health, internet, you know, the access to what we need, it's only gonna be getting worse and worse.
Right.
And so I hope that the extra funding that we have right now before it expires
Mm-hmm.
gets committed to
Mhm.
quality of life here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that there is a solid infrastructure, especially for things that that thriving communities have.
Right.
Which is good and expanded school programs we don't have. Solid care and education that's consistent and funded and the employees are paid well.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of things that we need to shift and refocus on
Mm-hmm.
and decide how we want to move forward as a community, especially with what legislative changes may be coming down. And what kind of messages are we sending to the people that come here?
Okay.
I think we need to be very careful of political messages that we are sending, especially with our law enforcement,
Okay.
which he can smile at. Black American flags on law enforcement vehicles within our county.
Okay.
Not okay. This is
You
a
can-
town hall. I'm
Okay.
gonna stop you right
Okay.
here. This is a town hall. And this is open for discussion. It's a public topic and there needs to be some oversight. I do not abide that that is the message that is being sent on 84. Anybody who knows what that flag is, knows who they're meeting when they come up to the passenger window.
Okay. Do you have a
Not-
question, Jennifer?
Do I have a question?
Yeah, a question that you would like
Is-
answered.
Site of the sheriff's department and who would be providing that oversight?
Okay. The sheriff is an elected sheriff
Mhm.
and he's responsible for the sheriff,
For himself.
except for his budget.
And then who oversees him?
The county court oversees the budget.
So I need to make an appointment with you? Is that the
People,
question?
the people oversee the sheriff because he's an elected sheriff.
And so when someone
he'll-
has a problem, I'm at a town hall.
Okay.
What are you recommending my course of
Is it
action
budget
to-
related?
Well, yeah, it would be. How many deputies do we have kicking in doors in Hood River County instead of over here?
Okay, I just want to make sure that you know that you can ask the sheriff's questions as well, because you will be able to get some direct answers from him.
I haven't.
But if
been
you
able
have
to
a
get
list of
direct
questions,
answers.
you can please
And he's
give them
already
to me.
making lists of
Okay.
people.
Okay, all right, thank you,
It's not
Jennifer.
okay.
All right,
Okay.
thank you. Okay.
I guess all I wanted to speak about was just the endowment. The important aspect is I cannot promise that we are never going to apply for operational funds.
Right,
It's actually necessary.
Yeah.
Federal, state money only accounts for less than 50% to meet net zero for us. And we can't put that burden on our community. It's not responsible of us, and we would not succeed in sustaining our business. So the endowment, I'm excited for because we can't be the sole providers, and I'm so excited that Arlington's involved. We want more home providers because families should have options to choose from. And everybody should have equal access to this money so that it's not just that this 20-year Condon Can plan shorts out at 15. This is a beautiful, beautiful room of ideas, and I want them to see come to fruition, but it's all a house. So if you lose a pillar, it's something different. And so I think we are all we don't care if it's in-house, out of house, if whatever has happened, but I think we find something starting it now so that we aren't looking back and saying, oh shoot, gosh. And I apologize, we'll try to keep the amounts smaller in the future, but we'll do the best we can.
Okay, Carrie.
A comment
Mhm.
about the idea of putting a line item in the
Mhm.
budget. That would be a great idea for this county court, but when your guys' terms are up, the next county court's gonna move in.
Yeah.
And they will have every right to do away with that one.
Mhm.
So that might. be
Yeah,
kind of a
I
thing
see that argument. Uh-huh.
We're happy to fill out
Mhm.
grant applications, something that we do year round.
Mhm.
So.
Mhm. Yeah.
But the endowment is a great long-term strategy for stability.
Mhm. do we know how the numbers would flow with an endowment? I mean, have we really crunched the numbers? I'm curious. I don't know if we have, but we sure can. If it's $1 million a year and it's gonna build for 10 years plus interest. And then if we're spending $250,000 a year, how much are we gonna, how is this gonna work? I'd like to know.
Cause I think, is it 700 and some thousand that we are giving them for operational this year between Arlington and Condon? Isn't it?
I don't know, have the numbers in front of me. I don't know. Brooke.
I don't remember seeing.
Okay.
50 and then do
Mhm.
How much was it?
670, it's a little child.
Yeah. Mhm. So if you're spending that much a year, will it last? Will it do what we intend it to do?
That was a little bit higher number this year. No, I'm talking like there was carryover from the previous year for the Arlington childcare because they had it picked up. So there was funds that was carried over from the previous year. And then ours was higher because we were preparing for expansion.
Mhm.
It hasn't quite started yet.
Right.
It's money that we have not received.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, because
yes,
you're not gathering that from the parents yet.
Mhm.
yes.
The invisible children.
Mhm.
So the funds that were dispersed or not dispersed, but were higher this year for both ends because there was carryover from the previous year for Arlington. Money that's earmarked for.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, I just know that the host fee, when we redid it, a year ago, it was general fund is where we trimmed it from. So instead of the county getting we moved it to an endowment fund. So it's 20% of whatever the host fees are. And I think they are,
$4 million a year.
yeah, or more.
So, yeah. I'll have to go through one budget process along with Brooklyn, and I'm curious to see how taking that $1 million out of the general fund is gonna shake out for us also. And maybe it'll be absolutely fine, but I gotta see it through the process to see how that'll work. Is there any other comments, questions? Sheriff, do you have anything?
I just have, sorry,
Uh-huh.
one observation, there's several entities in here that are talking about, summer programs.
Yeah.
Spring break. Maybe all of these 3 or 4 entities that we heard from could collaborate together.
That's a great idea. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would encourage that. Come up with a plan and come back to us. Tell us what the plan is. Maybe we can get something going for this summer. Okay? Good. All right.
Of course, still calculating.
She's still calculating, still doing the math.
Very last one, but
Okay.
I can give updates to all of them. That might get a few more conversations.
Okay,
going,
great.
And then we'll do strategic plan. So, first off, thank you everyone for coming. We've got lots of really good ideas. And what's awesome is that a lot of you are on the same page about stuff by a lot.
Yes.
So we're gonna start with the, for the future development projects. The number 1 with 9 was the Liberty Theater rebuild and the Arts Council. For 8, tied for, both had 8, so you can almost count it 16 towards this one topic. For indoor rec, for the new pool at the grade school, old grade school had 8 votes. But a pool upgrade of our current pool had 14. So if you go for the highest priority for development, it is the pool, making sure that Condon has a pool. We have indoor recreation in the winter had 8 votes. Outdoor playground at the grade school had 6. A skate park, which was also tied in with that as an idea of what to do with the outdoor playground at the grade school, had 4 votes. The Arts and Culture District itself had 3 votes. Fast EV charging station was 1. Splash pad was 1. Outskirt water sewer power development for easier putting in houses had 1 vote. Rural broadband had 5. Then a bathroom at the baseball field had 1. Affordable housing tied to local employers, 1. Elks Club remodel 1, and then EMS and fire had 1 vote. And a lot of those, I'm gonna skip and do livability next, because those ones tie in really well. So for livability, there's lots of things between livability and future development projects. So for going well in livability, we have the parks and the increase in activity at the theater for art. So that was good. For improving, we have support for first responders, which ties into the future development support for first responders, had 9 votes. Pool improvements had 7. Emergency communications had 1. Ball field improvement had 3. Highway and road cleanup had 4 votes. A safe walking path had 4 votes. A skate park or push pad or pump track had 4. Community classes for adults had 8 votes, which ties into an idea for future development had been to potentially join a community college district to have easier access to adult education. And green space improvement, 2 votes. Library, 1. Increased activities there, 3. Downtown Wi-Fi, 1. Access to fruits and vegetable improvement had 2. Play shed for indoors in the winter had 7, which was also one that was noted with future development projects. And then a car wash or laundry or dog wash had 8. So that's a heck of a washing business right there with all 3. But it was, and then wayfinding signs had 2. A dog park 1, and then creative electives. And then the last one that I was able to get, I got 4 actually of the 5. So for the county court, what's going well, we want them to continue, action of the ideas for improvement is to continue to work on housing. Had 9, oversight of the sheriff's department had 4. Don't forget about the rural county, 5. Hiring practice of professionals had 1. North-south divide, try and heal the north-south divide, have more countywide events, that had 10, which was good for this category. Focus on policy, not operational activities, had 1. Small business grant program had 6. Communications about community events had 3. And then more funding and more support for South Gilliam EMS and South Gilliam Fire had 14 votes. Things that are going well are support for nonprofits had 1. The county is now a good place to work. It's not toxic anymore, had 1. Increased communications is good was 1, and new hires going well was 1. And then for childcare, what's going well was the facility expansion for 2 votes, that they have a waiting list, so it is full to capacity, had 1 vote, and funding through the chamber for the homestead rebate had 1. Need room for improvement for childcare. They need more space. We had 5 votes, more options for parents had 1. Funding stability had 7 votes. After school care had 5. Both of those were huge themes from the discussions. More involvement in the community with the community, 3. More staffing, benefits for staff, 3 votes. A backup generator, 2 votes. Buy the rest of the block had 6 votes. And then there was less closures had 2 votes, but less closures tied back into more staff because it was less closures, better benefits, like more staffing so that the child care centers wouldn't have to close. And then the endowment fund had 18. So that is where we are out those. I am doing the final tally for the strategic plan, But I will give one shout out to the North-South Divide. I have an Arlington-based 4-H club, and we are coming up to do pottery with the Condon Arts Council.
Oh, good.
And the moment I mentioned the possibility to the kids, they have not stopped asking me about it. And we are very excited to get to come up and take advantage of that resource.
That's great.
Nice.
Good. Do you have anything to say, Caitlin, about what you've heard or just curious?
I'm proud of the community. I think it's important that we continue to keep showing up for one another, for our people, for the place, and for the future of what we want this community to be. I really hope my kiddos want to come back here someday. And so I think it's important that we continue to work with the city, continue to work with the county, and that partnerships are really focused on. At the Ford Family Foundation, I was able to earmark some funding specific for the Condon Arts Council this year, the Condon Can project, and just some other initiatives in the community. So reach out to me at any time. We have a Good Neighbor grant program that's open year round. There's no, specific dates that really keep people from pursuing projects. So I encourage you there, students, if you have students that are graduating this year, scholarship program, if you are an adult learner and are looking back to go to school, there are options. So if it's not through the foundation that I work for, I'll do my best to match you with other partners across the state. So it's been great working with this youth board though. I'm excited and just thank you guys for showing up.
Thank you.
So Caitlin, you were worked on the rocket program, didn't you?
Yeah, I was part of the Gilliam County Rocket Initiative, and actually the work that we did in that kicked off right at the start of the pandemic, and the programs that we helped start up were used across the state. So I saw that there was some interest possibly in revitalizing that group. I'd love to be part of that.
Yeah, because it's used for all different kinds of things, but in this case, it was used for the childcare, right?
Yeah, the childcare, and then spun out of that the grant program to really help support childcare businesses starting up in the community. And yeah,
But it can be used for lots of different things, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Great, now I'm gonna step in with the final tally. So for the current strategic plan, things that are going well is that we want to actually things we want to add to it are childcare and early education, and we want to expand that to 12 years old. That was voted on by 4 people. Housing, 1. After school or summer programs, 7. So this is very important. It's been identified at 3 different categories, and a lot of people voted on it. Rural fiber to home, fiber internet to rural homes had 5. Arts and culture, 11 votes. Preserving historic buildings, 7 votes. Improving public infrastructure, 5 votes, and small business development, 3. Recommendation for improvement was aligning strategic plans between the port, the county, Condon, pretty much trying to get everyone on the same page, especially with that wonderful presentation from Catherine and all the work with Condon Can. A lot of us want the same thing, so combining efforts. Coordinate housing, having a coordinating housing agency, 5 votes. Endowments for childcare, housing, and healthcare, 10 votes. And then nothing rural on the plan, so including rural development, I guess, on the plan. 4 people voted on that.
Good.
So we have about 10 minutes left. So there's 10 minutes left for final questions, and if there's no final questions, comments, or concerns, then
yeah. So I'll give you one more chance if anybody has any thoughts, anything they want to address the county court today. If not, we'll wrap this up. We're going to hold our meeting. Oh, so we also have a written comment section. So anybody who couldn't be here, or if you would like to submit written comments after you've reviewed the documents that were presented, the strategic plan, the other ideas for ranking, et cetera. There's a email address, gilliamcountycourtquestions@gmail.com. Thank you, Corey, for doing that. So, we have that email address. You can submit those until the 14th?
There's a link on the town hall page.
Okay. So until February 14th, you could submit written comment, which will also be considered. And there's a link on that public notices page, correct?
Town hall.
Oh, the town hall page. On the front page, there's a town hall tab. That's where it is. So, okay, thank you.
Great, and the next town hall meeting will be in Arlington on February 11th. It'll be pretty much the same format as this, it just won't have the Condon Can specific presentation. So if you loved it so much, you want to do it again, you are more than welcome to come and join us up in Arlington. Other than that, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for all of the wonderful feedback and wonderful ideas. Definitely tell that what's really important, after school program, increasing the arts, housing, childcare. It's nice to see everyone's and really on the same page.
Right.
And the pool.
And the pool, yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Great job.
Thank
Lori.
you.
You did great.
Thank you, everyone. You guys did awesome.
Oh, wait. So
What?
the fair, so there's gonna be a fair exhibit. And it's going to be a winter scene. That winning photograph from the fair is gonna become Gilliam County's Christmas card.
Oh.
I stole this idea from Sherman County, so. So get prepared, it's winter now, so take your pictures. Yeah. Meeting's adjourned.